All right, good day, everybody. This is for everybody that didn't make it to the meeting today or couldn't make it to the meeting today. I'm doing this in one take, so I'm not editing it. So if there are issues, sorry. I'll try to make this as quick and as painless as possible. But again, I think it's important everybody kind of has a understanding of what we are trying to do here. Um, there we go. You should be able to see my screen. Um, so today I went over this um, slideshow. I will send it to you as well, so that you have information that's needed. Make sure that if you have any questions or anything, get in touch with me, let me know. But it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Again, every head coach and assistant coach should make sure that they get onto their website, whether through the Iowa High School Athletic Association or the union, to make sure that you know what your handbook says for your sport. So you need to read the handbooks and be aware of that information. Also, too, whenever you get this link, you'll be able to take a look at the coach's handbook that we have here for Tri-County if you haven't already done so, but please make sure you take a look at it and just have an idea of what you're supposed to be doing as a head coach here at Tri-County. First and foremost, most important thing is make sure everybody understands what needs to happen in an emergency. I think it's important to be aware, be prepared, and then, like I say, discuss with your team, with your coaches. And I know, Sean, you don't have an assistant coach right now, but again, discuss it with the team, have a plan in place as to what to do in the event of an emergency, whether it's heat, whether it's injury, whether it's serious, whether it's not serious. We still need to know what to do. All coaches should have a kit. Make sure that you keep it secured and keep it stocked. The materials are in the coach's office, in the hallway where the library's at. So make sure you have what's needed. Don't come to me last minute. It's 30 minutes before a game, say, hey, I don't have any tape. We need to take care of all that stuff ahead of time. Know where the AEDs are. Again, there's one at the front of the building by the high school gym. There's one down here in the elementary hall. And then there's another AED that's outside right now, and it will be in the hitting shed. Right now it is in, I think, the girls softball shed because they had it this summer. And then also take a look at this link here to Tri-County Activities Emergency Action Plan. Again, just has some things to think about there as far as injuries are concerned, so on and so forth. Things that are important whenever it comes to emergency, know who's going to call 911. First and foremost, if it's an emergency, we need to be getting 911 called, get somebody on their way. Know where the AD's at. Talk to your kids about where they're at. What are you going to do? If you say, Johnny, go get the AED, make sure that that's something that everybody knows what's happening. If you tell Tommy to go to the road to stand to wait for the ambulance to point them in the right direction, or your assistant coach, whatever it may be, just make sure you have that in place and you've talked about, who's doing what as far as that emergency is taken care of. Again, we want the most qualified people to handle the emergency or the medical situation. Don't do anything you're not trained to do. Everybody should be CPR, first aid trained, as well as the AED. If you don't feel comfortable with it, obviously you have things there that everybody should know about. But again, it's important to know who's handling what. Um, Again, make sure parents are contacted anytime there's a head injury, concussion, injury. Make sure parents are informed. Also, too, we need to have a report filled out at the school. June has those here in the elementary office to be filled out. I would suggest writing down a either list by list or a kind of in a story format, what happened, who's witness, what you did for first aid, the time, so on and so forth, so that it's documented. Try not to ever leave a kid in responsibility of another kid. Let's say you're having practice, somebody gets dinged, and say, hey, Sarah, go to the locker room with Jenny to make sure she's okay. That's not the situation that we want to be in. If we have to end practice, we end practice. It's never put a kid's safety in jeopardy or in another kid's hands as far as that goes. Here is another link. Whenever you get this, you can again open this from your own slideshow, but it's a state shared emergency plan on several things, help and give you an idea of what can be done or needs to be done in an emergency. Varsity Bound, everybody should be aware of Varsity Bound. That's where you're going to have your stats. That's where you're going to have your rosters. Make sure everything stays up to date. Keep in touch with it. Again, we want to give and put together the best program we possibly can, give everybody as much ability to participate as possible. So make sure that that's taken care of. Take a look at your times, make sure that those are correct. Inventory sheet, everybody should fill out their inventory, make sure what you have is there, what you need, so on. I know throughout the year, certain things get pitched and thrown away, but again, that's okay. We just need to know what we do have, what we don't have. As far as helmets and those for football, Danco has an inventory of all of our helmets. If we issue new ones to somebody, we need to write those numbers down because they need to document it as well, since they do the reconditioning of the helmets. You can add this app to your phone, the Our School Today. These other two aren't as important anymore, but this Our School Today app is a nice app to have on your phone. Because if you link it to our school, you can bring up your schedule there. You can also bring up kids from the school and contacts and those types of things as well. Remind kids, no phones in the locker rooms while you're having conversations or halftime, those types of things. They should never, ever, ever have their phones out in a locker room. They all have cameras on them. We don't want a jeopardizing picture that could get somebody in trouble for child porn. Also, too, we don't want kids, videotaping or sending and having their parents listening to what you have to say in the locker room. So just, keep that in mind. All non-certified coaches need to do timesheets. You must fill it out. Any ordering that needs to be done, POs required. So, it's okay to let me know what you're needing. I will do the POs usually. So again, I need your needs, what we must have, certification, make sure you keep everything current. Whether it's your authorization, CPR, those types of things, keep those current and up to date. Coronavirus, we don't have as much of an issue, but again, be proactive. If kids are sick, we don't want them here. Send them home. I know that hurts sometimes on prep, but again, one kid versus the outbreak is, losing games because of it is it's even worse. So I do have water bottles. I prefer the kids bring their own water bottle. But again, we do have water bottles available. I know that's tough for football, especially. We will have water bottles, but they need to be wiped down to help keep the kids healthy there. Preseason, make sure your rosters are turned in. If you have new kids come out or new kids join mid-season or at the beginning of the season, make sure you get those names to Shelley. They have to have a physical. Can't practice till they have a physical. That could be something that could, cost somebody a job or a license. Also, too, make sure that you have taken care of your rules meetings and your concussion training. Concussion training has to be done before the season starts. Rules meeting, before the first game of the season. It's best to do it as early as possible. That way it's done and out of the road and we don't forget about it. And again, double check your inventory. And as you hand out equipment, make sure it's getting checked out and you have a written document that says what everybody has or a digital document, spreadsheet, something. But we should have everything accounted for at the beginning and at the end of the season. Preseason booklets, if you're handing something out to parents, your expectations or those types of things, let me know. Make sure you turn it into me because that's something, should be approved by administration first before it's given to parents so that there isn't anything on it that maybe shouldn't be. If you have a question is about anything, just double check. Again, we can't make our kids ride home on the bus here. They can ride home with their parent or whoever signs them out, but we need to have them get signed out as well. But if you have any questions on any of that stuff, look at the handbook. Also, ask. Practice times need to be on the facility scheduler. We know football is always outside, so that's not so much an issue. But everything else, all the gyms are getting scheduled for youth sports as well. So we need to make sure we have that. Your practice times and the facility checked out for that. So we just do that on the facility scheduler. Rules and regulations, make sure that's taken care of, what your lettering criteria is going to be, and so on. Again, check facilities out prior to game season, make sure everything works. Scoreboards, lights, you name it, make sure you have blood kit, you have liquid kit, in case somebody throws up. Just make sure everything is there before games start. Preseason forms should all be in, physicals, injury cards. Make sure you send out your preseason information to the news and radio people. Team and individual pictures, we've already done those, but each season we need to make sure we have those scheduled. And again, if you're going to have a practice or a preview night, let us know so we can get that scheduled, get it shared out on the Google Calendar as well. And season, again, try to stay on top of your practice facility scheduler because we do a lot of sharing. Make sure your bus times are taken care of. Sign out sheets, have a sign out sheet for parents for whenever they're at away games. So the parents can sign them, assign somebody to, have your assistant coach be the person that's going to get signatures, but make sure we get those people signed out. Medical kits, again, organized, everything is picked up, taken care of, blood kits, so on. So again, I don't need to read all this to you, but you can take a look at it on your own. Again, you're a role model, take care of your language. I know Mr. Straight has no time for, finds out, people are overly using profanity. Also too, in the heat of battle, keep focused despite, the officiating. We all get upset. Sometimes you have to take a deep breath, sit back, whether it's poor play, injuries, so on. Got to share athletes. Our kids are few and far between, and they're doing a lot of stuff. Got to make sure we share our athletes. With the weather, again, err on the side of caution. As it gets hot, might have to, only go out in helmets and shoulder pads, or shorten up practice a little bit. In the gym, if we have fans, get those turned on. if we get out of school early, you can't practice till after 6 p.m. And again, just know that that's something that's important. Lightning, we never, if you hear lightning, then, practice it honestly needs to stop. See lightning, it needs to stop. So just be aware of that. Snow and ice will be determined by the administration. With discipline, be consistent, be enforceable, be realistic. Make sure kids are attending practice. Talk to them about being at school, so on. So again, promote being a student athlete. They got to be a student before they're an athlete. Sportsmanship, make sure you're promoting that at all times. We want to be competitive, but also too, we've got to be sports. I know this whole new thing now coming with the image and likeness. I haven't heard a whole lot yet, but so far that's not an issue, but could be down the road. Make sure you have, excuse me, your equipment, everything ready to go for away games. If you need cameras or those types of things, we do have a DVD burner. Most of our stuff's online now with Huddle, so we don't, we can post it on Huddle and share it with kids. Postseason, make sure you have your honors ready to go. If you can early, share, who is going to be varsity with Shelley in the high school office, and she will get certificates made. Same way with district conference awards. We'll do the academics ourselves here. We'll have a team recognition night or banquet, whatever it may be. All uniforms need to be turned in after the season, after the final contest. And again, make sure you inventory everything and what needs to be replaced. What do we have? What are we looking for down the road? Make that preparation right away. Any postseason booklets, get stats together, take care of records, team records, individuals, and so on. Any needs, make sure you let us know those. We'll do an evaluation of the year, sit down and talk about, what we did well, what didn't work. Got a lot of different areas to look at as far as the standards are concerned, which is new. So, and it's okay if something shows up, low or deficient or needs improvement. That's okay. The point is to get better. So that's not a demeaning thing. That's an improvement thing. Make sure we deal with any lost equipment. We shouldn't have to give pants out to people on a daily basis, hip pads, girls with their jerseys, whatever it may be. Again, we have a limit of what we do have, and it takes time to get stuff. So make sure kids aren't losing. Anything needs to be ordered has to go through the purchase order. That's on the in the handbook. But let me know what you need, and I will take care of it as soon as possible. On the varsity bound side of things, let me bring that up real quick, or as quick as my computer is here. But on varsity bound, make sure you have your rosters taken care of. There are certain things that you just need to become familiar with. This website is constantly changing and constantly evolving. What it looks like one day might not be the same look 2 weeks from now. So and it's taking a while to load here. Let me see if I can get it on a different one. First bound, and sometimes they're slow. But anyway, with varsity bound, make sure that's where you find your rules meetings. That's where you find many things that are of importance as far as the season's concerned. So just take care of that information. Again, if you have any questions, let me know, get to me, and I will, here it popped up. So down here where your programs are, right here. So again, here's the Iowa High School Athletic Association. You can click on that. It'll have information. Here's the girls union. Oops, sorry. Here's the girls union right here. So if you're looking for anything from them, be right there. Up here with the programs, there you click on the program. Again, boy, this is slow. Anyway, with the programs, you'll be able to choose your sport, which level, varsity or junior high or whatever it may be. So let's say football, for example, or basketball, again, as I click on this, it will bring up all the games that are scheduled. With those, there are little dots off to the left. Those are and green arrows, and those are links to put in stats as the game is completed. So over here, after this game gets played, there'll be something displayed where coach will need to go in, put in your score. Also, again, put in the stats or upload them. But again, these three dots here kind of tell some things that you can do with the game as well if we need to edit the details for some reason. Rosters need to be in. Make sure that they're up to date weekly. If you've added somebody, make sure that it's on there. Also with this, your stats right here. You can check stats by clicking here. So now you can see, sorry, my phone's ringing. But anyway, again, so like here, coach need to make sure he goes in and puts in, position, height, and weight for each of these kids. Every single one should have all of that. Some of that was transported over. There's something else I was going to tell you about this, but I can't remember right off the top of my head. Anyway, again, if you have questions, let me know. I'll help you out as much as possible. Prefer not everything being last minute because that puts us both in a bind. So if you have questions, ask them, try to think ahead. And we'll do the best we can to make this a great season for kids, but not only for the kids, for you as well. Make it a great experience. And if we come upon some issues, we'll talk about them. We can always agree to disagree. But again, we need to have a great working relationship and be respectful of all of our programs. So thanks. And that's all I have for right now.